I am the greatest.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
You won't do shit. Just stick and move. And waking you up and saying, now stick and move. Keep your hands up.
Welcome to a new episode of the Stick and Move podcast. I'm your host, Trey, and today I'm talking about the top 3 greatest boxing entrances of all time. Now, I will admit I'm a little, how can I say this? I will admit that I had a little bit of trouble with this list because there were so many great iconic entrances in boxing history that, man, it was like picking your favorite child. And I'm going to give you guys 3 of my favorite and some that I may have left out that I recall were that need to be blurted out. So, my number 3, I'm actually going to go back to last year, specifically May 6, 2023. And that is when Canelo fought John Ryder. Now, I know you guys know I'm a big fan of Canelo, but I'm going to be serious. I'm actually serious here. Look, with Canelo's entrance to John Ryder on May 6, 2023, they fought it in Mexico, specifically Canelo's hometown, Guadalajara, Mexico, Jalisco, Mexico, at the Estadio Akron, right? Or Akron. Um, Look, man, it's a soccer stadium. And they filled that sucker out with over 50 to 51 or 52,000 people. And what I loved about that entrance right there, besides coming out to these great flag marching corps, was pretty epic. Not only that, but the camera work to this entrance, in my opinion, was sublime. It was epic. It looked grand. I actually felt bad for John Ryder. I can only imagine John Ryder at the corner of his ring trying to stay warm, seeing this big old spectacle happen in front of him as the top of the stadium. By the way, this was an open stadium, so it was open environment fight, and you just see these big old fireworks go off. Imagine being John Ryder, who was a mandatory fight for Canelo at the time, seeing this from a distance. I have a friend of mine that is like, he was, he's not Mexican by any means. And he was like, man, I felt proud to be Mexican. I wanted to be Mexican after seeing that entrance. He goes in, he walks the long catwalk to the ring, and it was just beyond anything. It just went to show you that he wanted to put a show for his hometown. And you saw it. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play the entire entrance for you guys. I'm going to play the entrance for every single one of them. That way you guys can feel the atmosphere, because that's what it was when I watched it on my screen that day. Was you saw how everything, you felt the atmosphere come through you on the screen. And it was just epic beyond proportion. Here you go. I hope you guys enjoy. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Now, my number two, I'm going to go back into time. Now, I don't remember watching this, but I remember hearing about it. I didn't get to watch this entrance till about a few years ago, uh, of course, on YouTube. And I was like remembering I remember when I saw this, I was thinking like, hey, I remember hearing about this as a kid. And now that I finally got to watch it, it was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was everything everybody was telling me when I was young, how insane this entrance was. But to be honest with you, this boxer was known for having crazy entrances as well, which was Chris Eubanks, specifically when he fought Steve Cooling. Now, Chris Eubanks, sadly, even though he had this beyond spectacle of an entrance, he would actually lose this fight. Now, it begins with like a stream of a spotlight, and his name would show up, Eubanks, on the side paneling of the stadium and in fireworks, right? Like sparkling fireworks, spelling out Eubanks. And you would see all of a sudden Eubanks come out on top of his 1975 shovelhead Harley Davidson, chiseled out, looking like this ripped up Adonis on top of his motorcycle, looking into the crowd like he was some kind of stoic figure about to shock the world, considering he lost the fight. But oh man, when I saw that again a few years ago, and I recently rewatched it again for research purposes for this specific episode, it was funny, but at the same time, that's who he was. That's who Chris Eubanks was. He was proud to show off that he made it to this elite level. He wanted to show the world that I am the A side. I am the guy. And I'm going to bring in the best spectacle as possible. He comes in, he gets off the motorcycle. All of a sudden, he's staring off into the abyss. He walks towards the ring, surrounded by bodyguards. And going into the entrance, he looks around before he goes in through the ropes. Uh, and what made it even better, as he is standing on top of the ropes before he enters in, he looks into the crowd like he is being welcomed, being like he reached the top of the mountain as Tina Turner, Simply the Best, came on, and he comes in and he does a little bit of shadow boxing and using that entrance to show off the spectacle that Chris Eubanks was. It was awesome. I love it. I'm going to show it to you guys right here. My words cannot describe it better than this. So go ahead and enjoy.
All the threats of a walkout, the first thing to say is that Eubank is here to defend his title. Now, what has he got for a ring entrance this time? What next from the Christopher Livingston Eubank School of Outrageous Entrances? Well, tonight's edition features one of his beloved Harley Davidson motorcycles. I'm told it's a 1975 shovelhead, for those of you who know about those things, worth £10,000. Is he revving up for something special, as he did against Wharton?
Well, he seems very, very focused there. But meanwhile, in the other corner, Steve Collins is oblivious to this, sitting with a hood over his eyes, his earphones on, trying not to get psyched out.
Eubank's 20th World Championship fight tonight. No other British boxer in history can match that. In a moment, the famous theme tune that has greeted him through all those contests. Unbeaten in 10 years and 43 contests. In turn, he's been called dull, outrageous, lucky, brilliant, but always Chris Eubank has been big, big news and big box office. The security men are having to earn their court.
They certainly are. The atmosphere here is unbelievable.
On the same plane as Chris Eubank, and when he got on the aeroplane, everybody burst into applause. So he must be gaining some popularity in his old age. He'll have to do something about that. Now look at Steve Collins, shutting his mind off to the entire episode. What a picture that is.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Obviously, he thinks this.
Now, for my number one. Look, my number one, it would be criminal if I forgot it. And by the way, the ones that I left off were fantastic, and they were a spectacle within themselves as well. But my number one, it has to be Prince Naseem Hamed, specifically the iconic one when he fights against Vuyani Bungu, when he comes in on the magic carpet, similar to Chris Eubanks, comes in, you see the spotlight, and all of a sudden you see Prince Hamed sitting down Indian style. And I remember watching this, and I was like, what is happening? Now, Prince Hamed, he's been known for doing these kind of things before, but all of a sudden you just see this magic carpet come up. You know, it was makeshift. It wasn't, you know, they weren't using graphics, video graphics to hide the lines or anything. You know, it was the year 2000. So it was actually my birthday when it happened, March 11, 2000, when this thing went down. I remember watching it for my birthday. And I remember seeing him sliding down on this slow moving carpet ride. And it was amazing. It was spectacular. It was a spectacle, and it made you, as a then for me, a 20-year-old, 19-year-old kid, look at boxing as more than just two men in a ring throwing gloves. I realized at that point, considering I grew up in the Mike Tyson era, De La Hoya and Roy Jones, that there is an appeal towards coming in with an entrance, intimidating your opponent, because that's what it was. Everything I've mentioned from Canelo's entrance to Chris Eubanks, even though Chris Eubanks lost, or Prince Naseem Hamed. Look, sometimes you could win the fight just based on the entrance, delaying it, making the boxer cold, and such, right? It did well. I remember seeing boxing for the first time in that perspective, thinking, wow, that is an entrance that if I was on the other end, I would have been like, am I boxing tonight or am I watching a show? And of course, Prince Hamed put on a show. He put on a show. Look, I'll say this too about this. For boxing, in my opinion, you know, there's so many levels to winning. Of course, in the ring. Of course. Next, the stare downs, the weigh-ins, and now the entrances. I'm glad that I covered this topic because it's a fun one. Look, Prince Naseem Hamed, when he came out on that carpet ride, it it gave boxing that exclamation point to a point, in the sense that boxing is not just a sport, it's also entertainment. And look, Hamed, he would finish his career against Marco Antonio Barrera in that famous clash where he actually fought a top tier boxer, and it was an uneven fight. But he is a legend. He is a boxer that's going to live forever. You know how many comments I've had in our comment section saying you got to do an episode on Prince Ahmed? And I plan on doing that very, very soon, by the way. So stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe for that. But you just saw how boxing and entertainment intertwine, all based on the entrance. And I remember hearing that for years after that. Oh, remember Prince Hassim when he came on the carpet ride? That was always the conversation when people would talk about him. And he was actually a very good boxer. Interesting fun fact. Now that this guy is all over the news, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember. Now that this guy's all over the news, he not only comes on the carpet ride, but he gets escorted to the ring with P. Diddy. Now, P. Diddy's going through his own problems currently. I do not condone what he did, but that's the pull that Hamed had. He not only was influential in Asia, but he crossed over to the American side as well, bringing in, at the time in 2000, where Diddy was the face of hip hop at the time, and was willing to do his entrance with him. So that goes to show you how boxing crosses over into entertainment. And Prince Hassim knew that I just can't show up to this fight, have a spectacular weigh-in, a spectacular face-off, and it's put on a show in the ring. I got to make every level better than the next. And that entrance that he went in on was second to none, a piece de resistance, and brought that next level energy to the boxing ring. Fantastic, fantastic. Number one, in my opinion. Guys, go ahead and tell me who you had as your top 3 greatest entrances of all time.
And this, we are told, will be Prince Nassim Hamed's last big production ring entrance via magic carpet, would you believe? Touch of the Arabian Nights, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly a good effect. I'm sure he's enjoying it. He's come in every other way. He's been in on cars and all sorts of things. He's been carried in. And
well, people have their own opinions of these showbiz ring entrances, but you have to say, looking around here, the crowd seem to love it. But the question is, of course, in the ring, has the magic gone?
well, that's what he's got to try and prove. He's got to try and show that it's still there, that he's still got the fire, the punch power, that everything, he still wants it in the game. And he says he will this time, but he needs to. He just hasn't performed well in the last 3 fights, so he needs a special performance.
Well, it was a happy landing that time, but there are some who feel that Naz could come crashing down to earth in his first London appearance for 3 years. Give him credit, he's reigned since 1995, 13 title defenses now, but he does know and accepts now that the last 3 performances have been very flawed. He needs to shine here, and to answer the critics who are wondering if he's on the slide, if he, as a young multi-millionaire with a young family, is in the comfort zone. And answer those two who say he might be getting bored with the business.
Well, that's always a problem when you just get to the point where you've done it all, and he has done it all. He's had a tremendous career, he's tremendously talented, He's done it all. Has he got to the point where, you know, he's woke up and he just doesn't want it anymore? It's all a struggle to him.
Bodyguards surrounding him. There's people in the crowd trying to reach out and touch him as if he's some kind of god. Well, is it the last time that we'll see this, I wonder?
Now, who did I leave off? I'm going to go Canelo again. Specifically when he fought Saunders. Why do I say that? That fight, without unbeknownst to the entrance, you know, it broke records. I think it's the biggest indoor fight of all time, breaking Spinks and Muhammad Ali's record of over 74,000 people at the Canelo fight. What made this important was not only the people he had with Pepe Aguilar and his daughter, who's the son of a legend in Mexican music, but it was kind of the culmination of the world coming together, the first big mega sports spectacle since COVID. And that interest did not disappoint. Is you had the legends of Mexico fighting at AT&T Stadium or Jerry's World, and bringing himself in that long catwalk to the ring. And I can only imagine Saunders, who is this outlandish, speaks his mind out, crazy talker, what he was thinking, seeing this spectacle happen on his way to the entrance. That, in my opinion, was one that I left off. I was dueling between that one and the Guadalajara fight that he had with Ryder. I went with the Ryder one only because I love the lighting. I love the cameras, the camera scheme throughout the entire production. It looked like a movie when he came in on the entrance to fight John Ryder. And not to mention that flag corps doing their dance before with the Rocky theme playing in the background. The other one that I left off was when Vladimir Klitschko fought David Haye. That was so unique to me because it was like a movie. It was like a movie production. It opens up like in a corner newsstand somewhere, and Vitaly Klitschko is looking at the newspaper, and it's like digitized. It's like a video within the headline articles of the weigh-in between, or the face-off between David Haye and Klitschko. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, George Foreman pops up, sitting next to Vladimir Klitschko's brother, and they talk about this big fight. Foreman, the camera follows Foreman to the training room, and then you see Klitschko come out making his entrance into the fight. Now, it was just a bizarre skit. It was something that I'd never seen before. It was cool. It was funny. It was fun. And, it was weird seeing it from a Klitschko brother because they were so machine-like. They didn't really have that personality, in my opinion. And here they were showing that personality. And of course, George Foreman with that mega smile. He was at the time, a legend in and out of the boxing ring. And of course, culinary wise with his Foreman grill, introducing Klitschko to come into the ring to fight David Haye. That was a phenomenal one as well. So those were the two that I left out. Go ahead. Tell me what you guys think. Who did I leave out? Who do you think deserves a shout out in this top 3 greatest boxing entrances of all time? Go ahead and tell me what you think in the comments, and I will go ahead and respond to you on an upcoming episode. Guys, I'm trying to reach my goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers. We're more than halfway there, and I appreciate y'all's love and support. And don't forget to stick and move, baby.
I am the greatest.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick